Hi, I'm Anne Marie from Teacher to Teacher Health. This lesson is going to build on my previous lesson on using word families as a really fun decoding activity for your students. If you haven't watched that video, make sure you watch that one before you consume this video. In the previous video, I shared with you how you can use these Onset cards to help students build words using one of the 37 most common rhymes or word families. So in this example, we used the AND, the AND chunk, and built some words. There are more words that you can build. This is just an example. So part 2 of the lesson is when you invite students to work in partnerships, give them a whiteboard, and they have a list of all of the words that they've created as a class. So usually you might do this on a two-day lesson. So on day 1, you're just generating the list of words after you've passed out the Onset cards. And then on day 2, you go back and you revisit that list of words, read through them together as a class, make sure students are decoding them quickly, sounding all of them out. And now they get to do the writing part. So they're working with a partner. They each have a whiteboard, and then together they dictate or they orally compose sentences that can be silly sentences, but they're trying to use as many of the words in the word family as they can. They won't be able to use all of them, and they can add extra words in, but they're just trying to use as many of these words as they can. So maybe a simple sentence would be, the band played on the sand and the land. Maybe I'll add another sentence. It was grand. Okay, and then I want to go back and find all of the words that I use. So I have band and sand, land, grand. I always invite students to count how many they were able to use and put that number and circle it. So it has a game-like feel because they're trying to use as many words as they can. And this sentence here isn't so silly. Usually kids come up with sillier ones, and it doesn't matter how silly it is as long as it makes sense. So syntactically, do the words make sense in the sentence? My students loved this activity, and there's so many powerful strategies that you're introducing when you do this. You're getting kids to be exposed to these families, these word families. They are common, so they're going to see them again and again. So it's really powerful. And you are reminding students that they're going to be decoding these, sounding them out from left to right, but you're empowering them to sound them out by noticing, starting to see these patterns that they can decode quickly, so that as they practice them, their reading becomes so much more fluent. So if you haven't watched part 1, make sure you go back and watch that, because again, it is a 2-day lesson, or at least a 2-part lesson. I actually have a couple more videos where I'm going to share with you some other ways that I always use these word families to get my kids excited about decoding. So make sure you check those out as well.